Just remind yourself about harmony. That means create space to listen to others. You don't have to accept all the differences, but at least just understand the differences. And that creates peace. When you're in a peace environment, you can focus on what's important to you.
My guest today on the Ikigai podcast is Minako Horaguchi, an educator, certified life coach, and NLP practitioner guiding people through Ikigai-based transformation. Minako, you were born and raised in the peaceful countryside of Takayama, Japan, where simplicity, nature, and deep connection were parts of everyday life. Those early values shaped your work and the way you see the world today. You currently live in San Francisco with your husband and 2 children. Welcome to the podcast, Minako.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I found you by stumbling on your post on Ikigai on LinkedIn, and I'm glad I did. You recently started a newsletter called The Art of Ikigai, and I signed up, and I've been enjoying reading that newsletter. So do you want to give us a bit of background, and how did you end up living in the US?
Yes, thank you for connecting with me. So as you mentioned, I was born and raised in Takayama, Gifu in Japan. That's the center of Japan, and it's a really rural area, but peaceful and beautiful. And then we are located next to Japan North Alps. And then I grew up in a house surrounded by a mountain, and my parents have a kind of big garden and then rice paddy. And that's where my parents spend after work and then weekends. And now they're retired. So they spend most of the time there. And then as a child, I was just following them around. And then sometimes I help, but most of the time I was just like digging a hole and then catching the butterflies or frogs and crickets. That's how I grew up. And that's my root. Then I become a teacher and I found my passion to help students to get to where they want to be. And I was really enjoying observing students, how they grow and where they become. And that passion become bigger. And I started my own school. That kind of taught me, wow, living Ikigai, living purposeful life is so rich. I loved it. Then I got married to my husband, who I met in Japan, and he's American. So we moved to US, and then I have 2 children. They're 13 and 11 right now, and we live in California right now. 4 years ago, I became Ikigai life coach, certified life coach, and NLP practitioner. Since then, my purpose is spreading Japanese authentic Ikigai and helping people to identify their unique self and bring that into purposeful living.
Wonderful. We actually share a similar career arc because I did teaching and I started my own language school in Japan and then really enjoyed that, really enjoyed the idea of sharing knowledge and helping others grow. And so that eventually led to what I do now. So yeah, you've been a personal coach for 3.5 years. And from what I understand, you're focusing your coaching more on Ikigai. Is this something you've always done or has it been an evolution?
Yeah, as you said, it's a totally evolution. I didn't mean to coaching people, but looking back, I was definitely coaching my students. But after the certification, I learned more psychology and neuroscience and how our body, mind, soul are connected and work together. So my approach has changed a little bit, got a little more deeper, but I was definitely coaching in the past, and it's kind of evolving.
I do think Ikigai coaching will become more important as we move into this world of AI, where not just goals, but meaning, purpose, sense of self, sense of self-worth will begin to matter more. Our individuality will probably matter more because we're going to be restricted on maybe what we can do as AI seems to be taking over a lot of jobs, roles, and whatnot.
Yes, I totally see that.
So I think we're looking for more meaning and purpose, not just success-based coaching. So with that, how do you define Ikigai?
I'll try my best to explain as simple as possible. Ikigai is a combination of two words. One, iki, to live, and gai, worth living. When I ask myself a question like what makes life worth living, it's really hard to find the answer. It's kind of big. But when I shift the question more towards my feeling, how does it feel to have a sense that life is worth living? Then, I feel joy. I feel excitement, the waku waku. My heart is dancing and sparkling. And I feel fulfilled and I feel connection and love. Those moments, I feel like I'm glad I'm living. I'm alive. So Ikigai is like a collection of those little moments of happiness or joy, of this beautiful feeling. And then you kind of receive all the feeling and then just appreciate that comes to you. It's like a gift. That's just like core of Ikigai, I think. And then if you do more thing that serves you, makes you feel good, and then keep doing it, and then that Ikigai kind of start to be more visible and then grow, and then you start to share, and they just continually grow into something really big.
It's an interesting question, like how do you define Ikigai? Because simple answer could be, it's, what makes your life feel worth living? But then it's very multidimensional. And as you said, it comes with this personal energy of waku waku, small joys, sense of purpose, connection to others. I like to refer to it as Japan's word for positive psychology, but it is a fascinating word. And there is obviously this Japanese angle or lens to it where the focus is also on these smaller things, which I think we miss in the West. As you know, it's become very popular outside of Japan. And there is this Western interpretation that's gone viral. The Venn diagram you've probably seen. Do you remember seeing that for the first time as Ikigai and how you felt?
Yes, I thought that was brilliant. I really loved it. I got so fired up. Like, wow, this is so simple and clear, and I'm gonna dive into this. That's first time when I saw the diagram. But more and more I learned Ikigai, and then I noticed that this Ikigai diagram is more career focus and success, like purpose, something like really big. And Japanese authentic Ikigai start from really, really small, and you focus on your feeling, what makes you feel good, and then comes with daily action and enjoy the moment and then appreciate it. So it's just like a difference I've noticed.
Maybe we should highlight the differences. So, what are some of the differences between Japanese Ikigai and the West's interpretation?
So one is Western style is more career, purpose, and success, and the Japan is more like daily meaning and inner joy. So internal versus external. And then another thing is the size is really small. I saw a sunset. That can be your ikigai. Go to the top of the mountain and see the sunset. This is my ikigai. It's really small and then very simple joy. Yet Western style is kind of big goal and achieving something and impacting something big. I think another thing I can think of is more connection, community, and sharing what you love and what you enjoy. versus more productivity and ambition and more individuality.
There we go. It's very different how it's interpreted. And there is this sense in Japan, it's not something you chase, it's something you feel and live daily. Whereas, as you've mentioned in the West, it is this goal almost to achieve. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a little bit unhealthy to place Ikigai as something so ambitious?
I like that. Dream big and achieve that. And it's really so much energy. So I really like that. But at the same time, I get a lot of messages, like people message say, I'm 40 and then I'm trying to find the Ikigai. But with this joy, how can I make money with it? How can I make a living and support my family? Or like, what is my purpose? So it's just because the Ikigai meaning is kind of big and external and kind of out of reach. So sometimes that's overwhelming and then confuse people and really struggling to find one.
Yeah, it becomes heavy
Mm-hmm.
and it comes with a sense of pressure, which really is the opposite of Ikigai. It's something that's life affirming and, as you said, waku waku gives you this energy. And it's often best experienced when you share it with someone, your family, friends. So there's a social dynamic. I guess the beauty of it is subjective. So it can be something related to work or not related to work, to your hobbies. Can be something small. A lot of Japanese often say that their coffee in the morning or their me time, their time alone,
Yeah.
or just spending time with their pet. But then even Ken Mogi says it can be a life-defining goal, just as long as there's the intrinsic motivation, that element where you're pursuing the goal because you just want to, and there's no over-focus on the outcome. It's the process, the journey, the growth. But I think in the West, we miss the small stuff.
Yes, it's like grows. So your Ikigai grows so much. You gotta keep going. You wanna keep your curiosity and your desire to keep working towards it. And you just wanna share. It's just coming from inside.
It does come from inside. Growth is one of the Ikigai needs that Miko Kamiya talks about. So I think that's crucial. Finding something that helps you grow, helps you step outside your comfort zone. And then, as you mentioned, you want to share it so that there's that social element. And it does give you a sense of purpose, but it is different to purpose. And you write about this. So, how would you define purpose in a Japanese context? And how is it different to Ikigai?
So purpose is your why, right? Like why you do what you do and why you create what you create and why this exists and why I exist. It's kind of like touch your value and core value, like what's really matter to you. And then another definition of a purpose is we often get kind of confused, mixed with goal, but purpose is just like long journey. It's like ongoing. There's no end. Just keep going. And then purpose is like something beyond your own needs. As you mentioned, you start to share with people and then contribute to others, your community, or to the world. Ikigai is not only purpose. Your small Ikigai has huge potential to grow into your purpose.
Yeah, I often associate Ikigai to role rather than goals.
Mm.
And we have multiple roles: parent role, professional role. Even our friendship is kind of a role. We might behave slightly differently depending on the friends we spend our time with. And we play a role for our friends. We look after them. We share. So I would definitely relate the purpose aspect of Ikigai to role as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it is this aspect of it goes beyond goals, and it's bigger than yourself, and maybe that's how you contribute to purpose through role. But as you note on your website, Minako, you wrote, entering midlife wasn't easy. Parenting, trying to balance work and family, navigating health challenges, and not knowing which direction to take. I often felt overwhelmed and scared to try a new path, and you got stuck. So I think, yeah, we have these demands of roles. We have, I guess, getting older is not always easier, even though we're both still relatively young. And we often don't know what to do or what direction to take. But I think this experience, all these experiences, help us as coaches. So how did you overcome these challenges and get unstuck?
Hey, it's Nick here. Do you want to become an Ikigai coach? The Ikigai Tribe Coach certification is the only program supported and endorsed by Japan's leading Ikigai experts. You'll learn authentic research, practical coaching tools, and join a global community of coaches making a real impact. Find out more at ikigaitribe.com. Now back to the episode.
So I remember I was like, as you said, I didn't know what to do, but I was missing Ikigai a lot. But again, yeah, I didn't know what to do. But one day I was listening to podcast. Her name is Rachel Hollis, and she's a motivational speaker, I think, support woman. And then she said one thing, write down your dream life in 5 years from now. Be really specific and write down how you want to feel too. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I love journaling. So I start journaling. Like, okay, in 5 years, I live on a hill with big window and I feel the sun. I see the sunset every night. And I have 2 dogs. I have a little garden outside and I pick up vegetable that I grow. I serve my friends, family, and we get together and drink beer, laugh, talk. And I have this trusted relationship with my daughter. I have a supportive relationship with my husband. And then work. I want to create environment that I can work anywhere from the world. And I travel and I want to feel grateful every day and I want to feel fulfilled every day. And that's I wrote down. And it wasn't easy at first because I was living in a really narrow world, being the mother and working. So it took me a while, but when I wrote all the kind of dream, I felt really good. I opened up and I felt like I see a hope. And then I kind of start applying one thing that's align with the feeling or the thing that I want to get. I still remember I felt completely differently, even though I just did little tiny thing. But I learned that in living intentionally every day, and then in alignment with what mattered to me and alignment with my value and the feeling that I want to feel is crucial and it's really good for me. And then I felt I become a better version of myself, just one little tiny thing. And then I was kinder to others and I was more in a good mood. So that's like first awareness and I really felt it and I just kept doing it. And then it took me to the place where I become a life coach.
Nice. It almost sounds like you identified the Ikigai sources you wanted for your future. And then once you started to make these small steps or progress to feeling them or experiencing them, it gave you that personal energy to keep going because it was so emotionally fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like you were Ikigai life planning, but not maybe realizing it at the time.
Yes, totally. Yes.
Yeah.
Everything is just like looking back. And I was like, oh, that's what I was doing.
Well done. So now you can impart that wisdom to your clients. So if you do have some advice for our listeners, how can our listeners start to uncover or find their Ikigai?
So I like to use tree as a metaphor. Tree is us, right? Our trees are all different and unique. And we're like keep growing. And then we have the seed of Ikigai. And that's potentially become such a beautiful, big purpose. I believe we all have this inside of us. And some of the people, the seed is still under the ground and it's invisible. So first step, I say, is just acknowledge it's there and then learn about the seed. So just 10 minutes every day, spend time with yourself, either journaling or record your speech and then listen to yourself later and just ask yourself, what do you want in 5 years? What your dream life look like? What kind of relationship you want with your family, partner, friend? And then also you can go back to your past. When is your last time you felt joy, happiness, fulfillment, and waku waku? Your heart was dancing. And who are with you? What were you doing? And then you can bring yourself to present state that who are you craving for meeting today? What are you craving for doing today? And so that you can just acknowledge that, oh, my Ikigai, my potential small seed is here. And then how to keep your seed alive, what you need to do to nurture the seed. Second thing is just taking action, right? Start nurturing the seed and just feel the joy. Allow yourself to feel. Just be patient with yourself because our mind and the body are so attached to how fast we can get things done, how big impact we can produce, and how much result we can get in a day. But Ikigai living is nothing to do with it. Just allow yourself to enjoy each process and appreciate the gift that you receive. Sometimes things doesn't go well and then you feel like you're a failure. But again, that's your learning. What's working to grow your seed? What's not working to grow your seed? And then you can still appreciate the gift of learning. I say just be patient. Keep nurturing yourself every day. And then lastly, just be kind. Be kind to yourself and then don't judge yourself. Again, we criticize ourselves and we are so hard on ourselves and constantly, comparing to other trees. Whose tree is bigger? Whose tree is growing faster? Whose tree is more beautiful? Whose tree has more crops? And whose tree has more birds around it? And that's take joy away from us. And sometimes take our confidence away from us and lose our Ikigai. What's important to you? What's matter to you? What makes you feel alive? We lose sense of that. We are not perfect, right? And then that brings us very unique. And then that creates like unique purpose. And then that person can only bring the unique purpose to the world. So just enjoy the beauty of not being perfect and celebrate that we're human.
We are human, yes. I love the advice. I really love the advice of journaling. I think it's really important because you have to have this time alone to identify what matters to you, what you want to do, what you're feeling, and create space to get your thoughts out. But I like your idea of an alternative to writing, to use audio, because I know a lot of people don't like writing. So that's a really good idea. I guess you could just use your iPhone and record memos every day. And then you could go back to them and listen and see how you've changed or what your thoughts are. So I think that's crucial. That gives us awareness. And I do like this idea of self-compassion and self-kindness. It's very unhealthy to compare ourselves to others, thinking we understand them. We only have a perception. And so it's just not healthy to compare yourself. Think, oh, that tree's bigger than me, or it's more flexible, or has better grass or better foundation. None of that ultimately helps. When we're talking about sources of Ikigai, there is this idea of contribution. And I think one of the ways you are contributing at the moment is through your newsletter. So do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, my newsletter is called Art of Life, and I just started maybe 2 months ago. It's pretty new, and I just wanted to share the authentic Japanese Ikigai. So there is Japanese culture and tradition, and also reflective questions and tools that might help others. And also there's invitation to the free consultation and event and workshop. So if anyone is interested in your own unique Ikigai journey, please subscribe my newsletter.
Awesome. We'll link to your newsletter, and I do recommend people reading it. Even today, I read your recent one and thought, oh, we should probably touch on that on today's episode. So we'll talk about that later. But yeah, this idea of contributing, sharing Ikigai was probably what drove me to start this podcast. So there is a real joy in learning, but also sharing what you learn. That's awesome. So congratulations on starting that. It's not easy. You have to spend time and think of each theme and write it. That's where the self-love comes in, yeah? You've got to be easy on yourself to
Right,
put all this content out there.
right, yeah.
And someone I think we're both fans of is Ken Moggy. So he's a writer, and you quote him in your newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Ikigai is not necessarily something grand. It can be something very small in your everyday life, like having a morning coffee or watching the sunrise. It grows and accumulates, becoming something larger. So I think that really encapsulates everything we've been talking about. Ken's a lot of fun. He's such an inspiring, unique person. And as I was sharing with you before, he's just released a book on Stoicism. So he's tying Japanese culture to Stoicism. That's a great aspect of Japanese culture too. I was thinking the other day, in the West, we have this tendency to talk about ideas and almost with a sense of pride, self-reliance, and be the best version of yourself and achieve your goals. But in Japanese culture, you have all these words that are very common, gaman, gambaru, and you don't really talk them up. So there's no culture of talking things up and being proud, overly proud about a word or a concept. But in the West, we do have this tendency to talk things up and say, I'm going to do this, or I've achieved this. And it's really refreshing. It's really taught me a lot. I used to be young and ambitious and want to share everything. And now don't really do that as much because I think, oh, it's less.
It's just very different culture. Really fascinating to learn both culture. There's always a good side and negative side, but it's just always helpful that you understand both culture.
Have you found that you've got this nice balance of both in your life?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, it's waving into together, but I had a struggle when I moved to US. I kind of lost a sense of identity because like, am I American? No, I'm not. But I'm not fully Japanese anymore. Then like
Mm.
who I am. But as I said, it's not like A or B. Every part of us are waved into as a whole, as a human and beautiful, unique human being. Learning about that was really healing. At the same time, I felt confident. This is me. This is me. It's okay. This is unique self.
Yeah, it's almost like this harmony, which we'll probably touch on now. But I think that's the benefit when you live overseas. You learn. There's initial resistance. I mean, there's obviously this appeal and attraction and excitement. But then after a while, there is this areas of your life where there is a bit of friction or conflict or trouble adjusting, and then sense of identity comes into question. And then I think over time that gets easier, and then you start to realize, oh, now I'm kind of like this person of two cultures. One I was born in and grew up in, and this other where I've evolved and grown as a person. This harmony of both shapes you, and you become a fuller person, I guess. So you also write about Ikigai and harmony, which I thought was
Mm.
fascinating, and I hadn't thought about it like that. But harmony is a really valued virtue or concept in Japan. So do you want to touch on the importance of harmony in Japan?
It's coming from long time ago where depend on the rice. That's how we survive. And then to grow rice, we have to deal with the weather and the season. So understand the different weather and then accept the weather and be with crop, like create harmony with the nature. And then to be able to harvest the rice, we have to work together, help each other. So harmony is crucial to work together so that we can survive. But then that whole concept is still visible in our corporate teamwork and also local communities and then even natural disaster. It happens a lot in Japan, but we are still calm and help each other and then make sure your neighbor is okay.
Yes, I think in natural disasters in Japan, there's never any looting. There seems to be no crime or violence. There is this acceptance of what's happened, and then the community comes together to help each other.
Yeah.
Every time the Olympics come around, Japan's famous for the way spectators behave and even players behave. You always hear the same story, that the Japanese spectators have cleaned up after themselves, and then the soccer teams or whatever teams have left their rooms spotlessly clean. So that seems very relatable to harmony.
That's coming from respect.
Yeah.
Respect others, respect nature, respect surroundings.
That ties into harmony. I think to have harmony, you must respect others
Mm-hmm.
and play your role. That's something I've learned in Japan. Less focus on me, my needs, the individual, and think of others and how you can contribute or work towards reaching harmony. And for Ikigai, you believe harmony is essential to maintain. So do you want to expand on that?
If we lose the harmony, it's just conflict and then anger, frustration, stress, and sadness. These emotion comes up, and that's draining. That's drain your energy, and that's sometimes stop you nurturing your ikigai. And then sometimes people kind of become unhealthy and get sick by that. So just remind yourself about harmony. That means create space to listen to others. You don't have to accept all the differences, but at least just understand the differences And that creates peace. When you're in a peace environment, you can focus on what's important to you. And if your focus is drawn to conflict and these negative emotion, that's a distraction. So this harmony, peace, and kindness to others, kindness to yourself, kindness to others, that makes things more sustainable.
I love it. I'm always seeking more harmony in my life. I'll just mention one thing from your newsletter was harmony with nature. And that's something I think we've fallen out of as humans. We don't connect enough with nature. Do you want to touch on harmony with nature a little more?
Harmony with nature, I see two things. There's 4 seasons, especially where I grew up in Japan, there's 4 seasons. Every season has different beauty and in different time. Summer is more people are active, work or do things and more outgoing. And then winter time, it's more slow down and then just sometimes hibernate and teaches us it's okay. Sometimes your life is slowing down and it's kind of quiet. And then summer comes, so you can get up and keep going. Just be with nature always gives us some lessons. It's healing to us too. And then another thing about harmony with nature is this might be a big topic, but this global warming is real. So just appreciate where we are and make peace with nature, not about your selfishness, and create harmony with nature for the next generation too.
There does seem to be this denial of global warming, but Japan, the last 3-4 years, their summers have been unbearable and incredibly long. I used to love summer in Japan like 20 years ago. And now it's sort of very hard to enjoy. It's so humid and hot. So that's a real thing. And we can be self-centered. We might think beyond ourselves and consider family and others. But I think you're right. We should also consider future generations. What are we leaving?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's ecology. How this action impacts to this person, to the nature, to the society, to the country. So you can always check in with yourself. What you say, what you do, how this affects to surroundings.
Love it. It's almost like an Ikigai way of thinking. Obviously, you can have personal Ikigai. Actually, there are Ikigai advisors in Japan. And so they have 3 types of Ikigai: personal, relational, so relationships, and sort of a societal way of thinking. How are you contributing? So that can extend beyond your own life. What am I leaving behind? How am I helping for a sustainable future? And yeah, Ken Mogi talks about that too. Harmony, sustainability is one of his pillars of Ikigai. This idea of harmony might sound a little unfamiliar, like in a daily context. So do you have any advice on how we can create more harmony in our daily living?
Try to understand other people and yourself, because without understanding the person or yourself, and we just automatically judge others. As a human, we like familiarity. If it's different, you just want to react to judgment. But just create space and listen to others without bringing your own value. Just listen and then understand what this person's value is, what this person needs. And then you go from there.
Love it. I think that is our biggest challenge, the tendency to automatically judge rather than question with playful curiosity or interest.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, bring your curiosity to understand the person in front of you or things around you.
Yeah, it's almost asking, how can I harmonize rather than point out differences or state the obvious? How can I learn more? And on that theme, if people want to learn more about your work, Minako, where can they go?
I have a website. It's myikigai.me. And you can also email me. My email is minako@myikigai.me.
Awesome. All right. So we'll link to your website and recommend people sign up to your newsletter. And as you said, if people want to have a chat to you, you offer a complimentary discovery call, I guess?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's end with more Ikigai sources. So what are some of your daily Ikigai sources?
Get up early in the morning. Having my quiet time and journaling with coffee. That's my joy.
We probably call it Ikigai journaling. Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, I wish you much success with your newsletter and hope this podcast helps you get some exposure. And I'm looking forward to our continued friendship now. I guess we're Ikigai friends. So thank you so much for joining me on the podcast, Minako.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. And it was such a great experience and, sharing thoughts and talk about our passion for Ikigai.
Absolutely. And who knows, we might be collaborating on something and hopefully I'll get to the US soon and we could do something together.
This episode was brought to you by the Ikigai Coach Certification Program, the only Ikigai Coach certification supported and endorsed by Japan's leading Ikigai experts. If you'd like to help others discover meaning and purpose in their lives, visit ikigaitribe.com to learn more.